And now it's time to take a look at what's trending on social media with Deepti Laurent. Hello, Deepti.
Okay.
So we're starting with Donald Trump and that announcement that he's going to quit his business activities and focus on the presidency.
That's right. He announced that on Twitter this Wednesday. He said he'll be holding a major news conference in New York City in December to discuss the fact that he'll be leaving his great business in total in order to fully focus on running the country. Now, the mogul obviously has many business interests, Claire, but it seems that one of his business ventures is hitting a little too close to home, or at least what will be his new home, the White House. That's the Trump International Hotel, which is a luxury 19th century hotel just a stone's throw from the White House.
And this hotel has been the focus of the debate over how Trump is going to deal with these possible perceptions of conflicts of interest.
That's right. Bloomberg actually reports that some foreign leaders have said they'll stay at this hotel to curry favor with the future president. For instance, Bahrain's ambassador is even hosting a National Day event there next month. Now, currently, Trump pays the government $3 million a year to rent out the hotel. Unfortunately for him, two professors have actually combed through the 60-year-old lease that was released under the Freedom of Information Act, and they discovered they published their findings this week and revealed that the lease specifically states that no elected government official can hold any share or part of this lease that earns them money, essentially. So that really raises the question: how is he going to balance his personal interests with that of his official interests when he takes the presidency?
Meanwhile, we've heard about some more cabinet picks. We still don't know who the Secretary of State will be, but Trump has met Mitt Romney.
They met in New York on Tuesday, and social media users have certainly picked up on this spectacular about face from Mitt Romney, who you might remember called Trump a phony and a fraud during the campaign. The two men feasted on at a three Michelin star restaurant inside Trump Hotel. They apparently ate garlic soup and frog's legs. That's according to the report, the note that was given to reporters. As you said, Romney is being considered for Secretary of State, but there was sort of a lot of backlash about this visibly chummy meeting between the two men. For instance, New York Magazine says Mitt Romney swallows his pride and frog's legs at dinner. And on Twitter, this photo that you see here, this sort of awkward moment between the two men, kind of became the target of a meme and Photoshop bonanza. Just to show you a few of those, this is a response to that meeting, but just to show you a few of those memes, this person played around with shadows and created a Hitchcock-style photo with Trump sort of grinning in the background, while this user likened it to every time I go on a first date.
Right, turning our attention now to Saudi Arabia, some surprising news coming out of there. One of the royal princes has penned a letter in favor of women driving.
That prince is Alawid bin Talal, who's a more moderate member of his family. He tweeted to a letter that he wrote last week in which he says that women should be allowed to drive. And in the letter that you see here, he says it's high time to turn the page on the issue of women driving. He likens them not being able to drive as though they didn't have the right to have an education or independence. It's a pretty extraordinary stance. Even though he is more moderate, it's still an extraordinary stance made publicly by the Saudi prince in a country where women do have very little rights and freedom. And his comments have inspired users to reignite the debate, essentially, for women to be able to drive under the hashtag "The time has come for women to drive." That's the line from his letter. And this user on Twitter actually highlights the hypocrisy of women not being able to drive, but being able to be driven around by a man. But there is sort of a glimpse of what's preventing these rights from moving forward in Saudi Arabia. This user says, the time has come for a return to God and adherence to Islamic Sharia law.
Changing gears completely now, a raunchy animated Hollywood film that's out here in France now has provoked a lot of anger from conservative groups.
That film is Sausage Party, and it's an animated feature about a hot dog, a sausage, and other food items learning about their fate, that they're going to be eaten, and trying to avoid this fate. This is the poster here. You know, it's a little raunchy. It's kind of a cheeky South Park-esque sort of animated feature, really directed more at adults. But it appears that the humor's sort of been lost on conservative groups here in France. In one in particular, Le Figaro, the French paper, reports La Manif pour tous, who you remember is a group that were vehemently against same-sex marriage in France. They've tweeted their sort of disdain, saying that the film is rated not suitable for under 17-year-olds in the US, yet here in France it's allowed from the age of 12. So they're saying that this film should be banned to kids who are under 17 as well. In particular, they're upset over an orgy that takes place in the film involving several different food items that the group calls pornographic. One user...
It's food.
It's food. One user has tweeted back sarcastically saying, La Manif pour tous discovers that a film that's not suitable for kids is not suitable for kids.
All right, we're going to end with a cartoon, a very touching tribute to the people who died in that plane crash in Colombia.
This photo has been making the rounds on Facebook, Claire. It's been shared tens of thousands of times after that terrible plane crash. Let's bring it up here. You see some of those players who died in that plane crash are in heaven, and this time they're being crowned angels by God there.
Very nice cartoon indeed. Thank you very much, Deepti.